That Note with Parker Whirling.
Yo,
How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm excited to have you on the pod again for the second time.
I know, me too, man. This is sick.
And who do we got in the back here?
Willis? Mr.
Willis.
Willis back there?
Willis the corgi. What a
Yeah, bro.
sweet little dude. He's looking over
That's my
here.
guy. Hey,
I know. I
Woody.
love seeing your pictures of him.
Yeah, he's awesome.
What a
He
cutie.
yeah, he was integral in the mixing of the album. I
I
had him on like
figured
a
with,
little
with ears that big, I'm sure he could hear
yeah,
every frequency going on.
he's got great ears for sure.
Cool. Well, Bedon, thank you for joining me for a newest episode of On That Note. The last time we talked was like 2 years ago, I think,
Yeah.
about your previous album. But now you got a new album out called I Love You, I'll Die. And I'm excited to get into it. It's the day of your release, which is crazy. I feel like usually we have people on that are like either talking about an album that's been released for a while or an album that's coming up soon. But, today we have you on the day of your release. So how are you feeling?
Dude, I feel great. I think the last time we talked was also the release day
Oh, was it really?
of the other album, and I'm just really grateful that you're doing a thing like this where you would let me talk about my music and stuff, and also I don't know, whenever I like get into an artist, like I immediately just go watch like interviews and just for the especially for an album like this that I made, uh if somebody got into it, if they could come and listen to us yap about it, that's pretty cool. So thank you
Totally.
for letting me talk
Oh,
and
dude, of
for having me
course.
on, bro. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm feeling good, dude. Releasing music is often like really wonky and weird, and I'm like really like the closest I've ever been to like actually being okay with just like getting it out and trying to let go of any expectations and not put any like uh I don't know, just appreciate the art that I made, and just be
Sure.
like proud of the thing and be like grateful that it exists. So that's how I'm feeling.
What's
Feeling pretty
the uh,
good.
what's the difference you think with this new album that has you feeling this way compared to maybe your previous releases?
Man, I feel like I always feel weird, but with this one, it's I don't know, it was such a big like step for me to learn how to produce and to try to actually like make it myself and also before I get too far, I want to shout out my homie Ryan Savage who helped me make uh a big ass chunk of this album. Pardon my French,
That's
but
okay.
I would be remiss if I didn't off the bat mention Ryan. He helped me work a bunch of the lyrics for like most of the songs, and then he helped produce on 5 Years, on Red Windmill, on You Don't Know, on 1, 2, 3, 4, on Splinter, and Belong. Uh, so yeah, big shout out to Ryan. But yeah, for me, I don't know, making this album was just such a like departure from anything I've ever done, and also it feels like kind of like in some ways kind of feels like my debut because it's really the first time that I like took it on myself to really learn how to express myself and like explore and find sounds that I found inspiring instead of uh, letting other people do that for me. Not that there's anything wrong with like working with other producers, but I just always kind of had the itch and then uh, never scratched it myself, and so yeah, it's like the world opening of like, okay, I can. I don't know. I in making this specific album too, I feel like I had this like big need to experiment for myself, and I did that, and now I'm like, all right, cool. That's out of me. That piece uh, is out, and now I can move on to the next thing. So it feels really good to like finish the birth of it, I guess. Like,
Yeah. I mean, it's always a long birthing process, usually longer than you would think. But when it comes
yeah.
to experimenting with things, what were you going into this project with in terms of like thoughts or perspectives or like a North Star, if you will, of something you're trying to achieve sonically or lyrically on this album?
Man, I feel like really the only thing I was trying to follow was just like the North Star was just like your intuition, like my intuition, me and Ryan's intuition, like whatever felt good or whatever you were feeling in the moment, whether it was like something that sounded really like extreme and drastic or kind of psycho or whatever, just like follow it. Or even if the song ended up being, more of a pop song, like with like two chords, like who cares? Just make the thing and then judge it later, I guess. So I don't know. I think the North Star was just trying to get out of the way creatively and just like let the things flow and then kind of like, wrangle them later. If that
Right.
makes sense. There was a lot of wrangling. 'Cause-
Yeah. It's nice to sometimes it's like I don't know, I hate when people say this for no reason, but a flow state. You get into a flow state when you're making something and it feels like these things come to you and these ideas come to you very effortlessly. But even sometimes within that, you can be receiving that information and putting it onto tracks, but coming back to it later is the difficult part and trying to figure out, what's going to stick and if it really needs anything more. And if it does, what doesn't need? And that can be its own challenge. Were there any songs you felt like gave you a harder time than some other ones?
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. They all were like born like in this session. Like none of them were like, "Oh, I have this song, time to record it." It was all like make a sound and then whatever that sound that kind of inspired the song is like kind of still part of it. So like day one stuff is like pretty much all over the place for like most of the songs. But like songs that like I feel like ended up like Splinter is a really good example to me of things that got put on the chopping block. Like that song used to have this big like orchestra section thing uh at the end, and it was always kind of like, that could be cool, I don't know. And then uh Ryan kind of had a little bit of the intuition of like taking it to more of like this like super rich kids Frank Ocean vibe with like the like kind of like beat drop and then that like kind of like gross bass line stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. They all kind of like ebbed and flowed, but it was a lot of like yeah, the beginning stages was just like so much like foraging and like really not judging any of it, like trying your hardest not to judge any of the stuff. And then and the like it's like in my wife's a photographer. They call it like you have your shooting. If she shoots an event, she shoots like 1,000 pictures or whatever, and then
Right.
they call it culling.
Oh,
So then you
okay.
like go through and like get the good stuff, and then you
Sure.
edit those. So it was a lot of like culling, I guess, where it was like we were throwing like so much just whatever at the songs, like as much as we could, I feel like, and then later, you would kind of like refine it and try to like turn it into like its purest little nugget form, I guess.
Yeah, it's almost like you think about like pressing diamonds or
Yeah,
sculpting. I like to use that analogy a lot because like when you're sculpting something or when I think about an artist sculpting something, they're taking this big ass block that is just kind of means nothing or it could mean nothing, right? You take one big swing at it and suddenly it becomes you take out this big chunk, so it becomes a little more something. But over
yeah, you start to
time,
see
you're
the
taking
shape.
big chunks, and then you start taking these little chunks, which can feel like the mixing phase when you're doing these little things. And then the mastering phase is like the finish on that
Polishing.
sculpture.
Yeah, yeah. I really yeah, I enjoyed. It was a really difficult process because I like this was like the first thing I ever like produced or mixed. Like straight up didn't know what I was doing. So like in the beginnings, like all the like uh stuff that I had in the sessions and the way I organized the sessions were like so horrible and like so inefficient, and my computer was just like crashing like literally like every 5 seconds. It was super dumb. Uh, but we got it done. So
Got it done. So this is your
yeah,
first time producing, mixing your own project?
yeah, or just yeah, doing it for anyone, and have since been producing for other people too, which has been super fun.
Very cool. So what's that experience like now that you're on the other side of that? Do you look back at how you were before and like think about all those things you could have tweaked with previous stuff? Like what's it like now being on this side of the studio?
Yeah, I just think I'll never make an album like this again. I don't think. Like,
Yeah.
it's just I don't know, so many of the. But that's kind of the beauty of it, you know. It's like the to listen to the album that like I made at this point in time when I didn't know what I was doing, you know. I think it's gonna be like cool to listen to the next one, and already working on the next album, like it already sounds so much better, which is
Of
really
course,
great.
yeah.
And also just like, you know, I'm uh I think Ryan said this at one point, but he was like there's kind of like two schools of thought of like the way you produce music or whatever, and it's like one is like audio is magic and then audio is clay. And this was an audio is clay album,
Hmm.
more of like mangling the audio twisting and contorting it to make it sound certain ways. Uh, you know, not really worrying anything about like the way things are being recorded, like, or you know what I mean? And
Sure.
then this next album I'm working on feels much more like audio is magic. But I want to kind of like bridge the gap, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. Like I love the clay aspect and like experimentation and making like weird fucked up sounds. But I want to, I don't know. I'm having a lot of love for the audio is magic vibe, I guess.
Sure.
So the next album is really really different. And I'm
Cool.
super excited about it. But
Nice. Yeah,
ah,
man, you got another album already in the bank. That's so crazy.
it's cooking.
It's cooking. Let them cook.
Let 'em
But
cook.
this, speaking of fucked up sounds, we got to get into "I Love You, I'll Die," the title track,
Yeah.
because that actually might be my favorite on the album.
Sick.
There's
Sick,
something
dude.
about the way it starts. It's like I don't know what that is. It a banjo sample? Like what's going on there?
Oh, dude, it's just I think it's this harmony acoustic guitar.
Oh,
It's like
okay,
a 1970 harmony acoustic I got from Fanny's House of Music. It was an open D. The song's in open D. I did a lot of open tunings,
cool.
but it's literally just like uh hold on.
We'll see if the microphone picks it up.
Ah, shoot.
We're getting a live performance.
Yeah, it's just this. But it's looped
Uh
on my
huh.
DL4, and I don't even know what. I guess it's like a kind of three time signature thing. So like it's and the song's on 4/4. So it's like looped in. It's just looped on my DL4, like delay pedal thing or whatever. Uh, and it was I don't know. It just sounded like a Celtic like river dance
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
and I
It
was like, oh,
almost
that's cool.
it reminded me immediately of like an Animal Collective kind of thing right at the
Cool.
jump. Yeah, that song I think is probably my favorite. I've only gotten to listen to it one time.
Hell yeah.
Thankfully, you sent it to me before it came out. I feel very special. But I
Yeah,
love
bro.
that song. What was the process of that? Did you start with the guitar?
I actually wrote that song on piano, uh, and also uh, I didn't know how to play piano
Mm-hmm.
before this. I got like a Wurlitzer piano on Facebook Marketplace for free. It's from the 1940s,
Whoa.
and it's awesome. And I got it tuned, and then I I guess that song's in D, and I don't know what I'm doing, so I ended up going to that like C, which is like a really major kind of vibe and like a chord that I wouldn't really go to if I was on guitar or something. And I don't know, it just kind of started there, and then uh, I was listening to like way too much George Clanton,
Nice.
uh, and was like obsessed with like his drum grooves, uh, and just like his beats and stuff, and I just kind of programmed a little like drum beat. And Ryan always said that the snare kind of sounds like the Idiotech snare,
Oh,
uh,
dude, you're speaking my
which
language. I
which I
was
love.
listening to Kid A yesterday.
Oh man, it's just 10 out of 10, man. It's so
Yeah.
sick.
Funny enough, that song on that album was like, I don't know. I've been loving that album for like what, maybe 10 years now, 11 years. It's like I got into it in high school, but it took a couple of years for me to really like that song. Idiotech was
Idiotech,
not my favorite. Yeah, and I would skip it.
because of the Ice Age reference, because
Maybe. Yeah, yeah. All I was thinking about was the Ice
the
Age
Ice
movie.
Age baby, the Ice Age baby.
Right, right.
Have you seen the thing where like the Ice Age baby's like 8 feet tall,
No,
like
that sounds
because
terrifying.
because of his like size next to the woolly mammoth or whatever.
Oh, oh. That's so that's so
It's just
creepy.
it's just a stupid meme. It's
Yeah, yeah,
fun.
yeah. But yeah, Ice Age coming, Ice Age coming. I'd hear that and be like, wait, what the hell's going on? And I don't know that, but
Chill
now that
out,
album
Tom.
is like my favorite. It's not my favorite of theirs. It's my second favorite. In Rainbows is.
Hell yeah, I
But
agree.
yeah, I mean, I feel like it's the right choice, but to each their own. But Kid A is a very close second for me, and that's cool to hear that that was a bit of an inspiration there with the snare.
Yeah, dude, honestly, like so much of this album is like Radiohead, like influence for sure. Like
Absolutely. I was getting some
Ryan,
Howdy in there as well.
yeah, sure, yeah, sure. Ryan's a huge Radiohead freak, and you know, we were. I was listening to a ton of In Rainbows and Kid A and Amnesiac and King of Limbs and all of it, I guess.
Yeah,
And like just like the sound design element of it that we were just like we're pulling from that a lot, I guess, or at least just
absolutely.
like cutting it from that kind of cloth.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'm stoked. I'm glad that you like "I Love You All Die." I've always like seriously loved that song a lot, and I don't know, you make the song and you put it out, and you're kind of like you have the moment where you're like, is anybody gonna like this or think
oh,
this is like
totally.
remotely cool? Like I like it, but I'm
Yeah.
like, obviously it's super different than anything I've ever done. So,
It's also
but
funny when I don't know, there's been times where I feel like there's a song I put out and I'm like, this is the one. And the response is either about what I expected or less than. And then there's
right,
times where I'm like, I don't know, I guess we'll see. Like, I know I really like it. And then people end up digging it more than you think they will. And that's
yeah,
always
yeah,
really cool.
yeah.
Do you have something that you are excited about in the future when it comes to music, whether that's an artist that you really like is doing stuff that you think is like boundary pushing, so to say, or even just stuff that you're coming across that you're working on that's exciting you about continuing to make music?
Uh, yeah, man. I feel like, I mean, for like what I'm excited about is yeah, just working on this record. Um, this next record feels like my wife says it's like more country, which is
Interesting.
fun,
Okay.
funny. I think it's just like the house that we live in. We have this like big backyard and like big oak or like oak trees and like a bunch of shade. And so I just kind of started writing all these like real like I don't know, just like southern, like comforting songs, and I'm focusing way more on like songwriting and lyrics, and that's really exciting me. And I don't know, I'm just excited to make that expression. And I've also like really fallen in love with like I have this like staircase that leads up to this studio, and I've just been putting like this mic in the stairwell and just running it on like everything. And it's like just gluing everything together and
Yeah.
like giving everything this like I mean it's just a room mic, but it's like it's really like I don't know, it's doing some magic
Some
for me
audio
that I'm
magic.
yeah, that I'm really excited about, especially on vocals. Like I don't know, I feel like I'm using so much auto tune on this album, and the next one I just want to like really sing and really like sing with like touch and like my I don't know, embrace my natural voice.
Sure.
So I've been singing through like a ribbon microphone a lot, and like standing away from the mic, and I don't know, I'm really excited about it. I want to like really get to work on it. I feel like for a long time I was like I can't like fully give myself to the next album until this one's released. So then now that it's like day of and it's away from me, it's gone. Like
Yeah, you made
maybe
it
I'll
to the
be able
finish.
to
Like, you
yeah,
made it to
maybe
the
I can
finish line.
just maybe I can start pushing a little more. But yeah, dude, I don't know. And as far as like what else I'm looking forward to, I mentioned our backyard. I haven't like announced anything yet, but I really want to try to do a bunch of like free all ages like outdoor concerts in our backyard over the summer,
Yeah.
and just try to like showcase a lot of my homies who are like dope artists. There's like a bunch of like young families in our neighborhood, and I feel like they would all dig it, and I want to make it like a real community vibe, uh, and have like dope food catered and stuff, and
Hell yeah.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. So we'll see.
That would
But
be awesome. Little summer
yeah.
series.
Yes, I want to do it. I want to do it.
Dude,
But
sick.
yeah, I'm stoked about that. Yeah.
Awesome. We'll beat in. Let's take it over to the last five, where I'm just going to ask you five quick questions, and then we'll be wrapped up here.
Heard that.
So nowadays, I'm doing these podcasts actually in person, and I have a little bowl here with a bunch of questions that my guests can pick out. But because you are on Zoom in Nashville,
Yeah.
I'm just going to pick them for you. Does that sound good?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. This is also my first Zoom interview back in like 2 years.
I appreciate you doing it for me, bro.
Dude, of course. I was telling my girlfriend yesterday, I'm like, I'm doing this on Zoom because this guy is stoked about doing this interview. I'm like, let's make it happen, because it's really
Yeah.
not, I mean, it's not that hard to do, but you just get into a groove when you do it one way. But I
Yeah,
was,
for sure.
I've had you on before. I really dig the music, and the fact that you're like so down to do it means a lot to me. So it was my
Sick,
pleasure.
bro. I appreciate you.
Of course. All right. Question number one. What are some of the best album covers?
Ugh. Man, I don't know. I don't have like a perfect example of this, but I like going to like McKay's and then like just finding like an album cover that just looks cool and
Yeah.
buying that album, and then hopefully it works out and it's good. I feel like usually it's like an old like jazz record or something. Like I feel
Mm-hmm.
like me and my wife have gotten lucky on a couple of those in the past couple of years, but I'm trying to think about the best album covers.
I know this is a really on the spot question.
Yeah, but I don't know. I like when album covers feel like I don't know, like they represent the music well
Yeah.
and stuff.
That's how
Yeah.
I feel about In Rainbows, Kid A. Both of
Yeah,
those
for
are
sure.
perfect.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
All right, let's check question number 2 here. Dream artist or producer to work with?
Mm. Andrew Sarlo would be sick.
I know that name. Did he do stuff with Big Thief?
He's done, yeah, Big Thief, Howdy, Dijon,
Oh,
McGee.
Dijon? That's cool.
Yeah, he's that guy rocks. I also really like yeah, I don't know. It'd be really fun to like Dan Nigro, who's like the freaking Olivia Rodrigo and Chappell Roan and Caroline Polachek producer guy.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, that guy's. I mean, he's just like making a bunch of crack and like
Yeah, he's got some heavy hitters there.
I know it'd just be like interesting to like I don't know watch somebody like that like cook and like mess around with somebody like that.
That would be awesome. Never heard of him. Dave Nigro?
Dan Nigro, yeah,
Dan Nigro. Okay, cool.
yeah.
I'm going to have to check him out after this. All right. Question number 3. Dream 3-band bill.
Oh man,
And let's keep them all alive.
yeah,
You know, once we start getting into like people who are dead territory, it gets really
Yeah.
tough.
fair. Radiohead, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Man, my favorite artist recently, like over the past years, this is Lorelei. I think we talked about him
I know
last
the
time.
name for sure, but I don't know
Yeah,
if I've ever listened to. Oh wait, this is Lorelei.
yeah,
Is that the guy who's also in Water from Your Eyes?
yes. I feel like
No
we talked about.
way, sick.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
you like Water from Your Eyes?
Water from Your Eyes is crazy. I didn't gravitate as much towards that record, but
Yeah,
I did like it. But I like freaking love This Is Lorelei. Like
nice.
all
Okay, I gotta check
the
that out.
album, yeah, the album he put out recently, and then also like he has all these like EPs that he put out, and I've listened to like all of that stuff.
Very cool. I met him in Athens because
Oh, sick.
they played a show in Athens and then they did like a free, you can come to their record, like a record store. I forgot which one, Wuxtree maybe.
Mm,
And they'll like, if you buy a record, they'll sign it for you.
hell yeah,
So I got to
that's
do
sick.
that and say what's up to them. And that show was kind of crazy because, I mean, you can imagine it's crazy based on who they are. But I was also like
Yeah,
right next to the speaker. And thank God I had little earplugs because I'd probably be deaf right now.
yeah. I bet that was crazy.
It was great.
Third artist, I'll go D'Angelo.
Whoa.
Yeah, it'd be a really weird show.
Yeah, absolutely. Figuring out the lineup for that would be wild.
Yeah,
That would
let
be
them
sick.
figure it out.
Apparently Radiohead is about to go on tour.
I know, I
Did you
saw
hear
that.
this?
Yeah, that would be freaking sick to go see. I've
I'm
never seen
always,
him.
neither have I. I should
Yeah,
have gone and seen them at their 2016 tour, but
yeah,
I had like nobody I would have gone with. And nowadays, like I'm comfortable enough to just go to a show by myself. But
yeah,
at that time, I wasn't, and I also wasn't like prepared to spend like $100 or whatever for like a random seat that was kind of far away. But nowadays, I don't care. Like I need to
yeah,
see
for
them
sure.
because who knows? It's been 9 years since they toured, so.
Yeah, that's crazy. That was 9 years ago. Jeez.
Yeah, so I'm willing to take the risk now, or just bite the bullet and do whatever I gotta do.
Me too, man. That'd be sick.
All right, let's check question number 4. Best live show you've seen?
Oh man, I think my favorite was actually the day that I finished mixing the record. Me and Ryan went to go see George Clanton,
Oh
and
man,
it was sick, man. Just like like the level, I guess, that he's at, and then like the like production that he put on. Like it was just him and like a live drummer, and then like tracks.
cool.
But he had like this sick like visuals kind of set up with like a bunch of like VHS TVs, and then like these like sick lasers and like smoke machines, and it was
Yeah,
just like it was so sick. Like I just loved getting to see that, and I loved like dancing at that show. Like it was just freaking so much fun. I loved it.
I need to get back into him. I've gone through phases, listening to Slide.
Slide's so good.
And then when Ooh Rap Ya came out, I was into that for a little bit. But I need to get back into it.
I think Slide's like probably a better album to me, but Rap Guys, it's grown on me since
I
it
definitely
released.
have a lot more nostalgia with Slide. Like it really just like takes me back to a place. But there are a lot of songs on Ooh Rap Ya that I really like. But I need to like give it a more proper listen because Slide I was just obsessed with. And then when that one came out, I was like, I just want to go back and listen to Slide.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
But I still really like some of those songs on there. So George Clanton, great answer.
Yeah.
All right, let's do the last question here. Number 5. In the studio or playing live?
Man, always historically it's been playing live. And I'd say like since making this album, I would have said like in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to get back to my answer being playing live. Like
You might change your mind after the show tonight.
yeah,
or tomorrow.
True. Yeah. We got the show tomorrow. I think I'm gonna change my mind after these summer shows, man. That's like
Yeah.
the spirit of that is like I really living in Nashville, like live music is like I take it for granted. I feel like everybody takes it for granted. Like
Yeah.
everybody's always playing a show. There's always a show to go to. There's like always shows that you can't go to because you're working or going to another one, and it's just like show overload all the time.
Yeah.
And like also like I don't know. I grew up in Memphis, and they had this free concert series at this amphitheater called the Levitt Shell, and you would just like go, and they would like curate it, and you would like sit on this lawn and like get some food from a food truck and like sit and watch like some dope free live music, and it felt really wholesome and sweet, and I always was just like as a kid just kind of in love with that. And in college we did so many like house shows that were so much fun, and like those were always my favorite kind of shows, were just kind of like DIY like house shows and stuff. And so I don't know, I want the answer to be playing live, so I really want to do this like this summer series where it's almost like all right, let's all really enjoy this. Like playing live music is so sweet and it's so fun, and like also I feel like I don't know, you don't always get to play for like all ages audiences, you know? I feel like normally it's for like fellow artists
Yeah.
who are all just like in the
Yeah. Arms
audience.
crossed.
Yeah.
Looking at your pedal board.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just like I don't know, I want to try to like reclaim that part of myself because I feel like it's been easy to lose that just being in Nashville. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It's very wholesome.
yeah, I hope so, bro.
Well, Bedon, I appreciate you coming on the pod, getting to talk about your new album, I Love You, I'll Die, which is out right now. Everybody go stream it. So many bangers on this project, and I'm so glad that I got to talk with you about it.
Yeah, dude, thank you for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
Of course. Let me know if you're ever coming to Atlanta, playing a show. I'll be there.
Hell yeah, bro. Appreciate you.
All right, man. Talk to you later. See ya.
See you, dog.
On that note, with Parker Whirling.